Hey, Radical fans, I'm Phil.
I'm Andrew.
We're going to talk today about the topic written in about bowling and battling fatigue.
Battling fatigue.
Battling
Phil,
fatigue.
Is that something you struggle with
You know
later in
why?
blocks?
No, I don't. When I get tired, I stop. It's pretty simple. Actually, it's pretty interesting. You know, being from the older generation bowler, years ago when I bowled, Earl Anthony once said about practicing until you were tired and then practice a little more after that, because that's when your mental game has to be really strong to battle it. And now, you know, in those days you had a lot more mental game too. Not that you guys don't, but you know, you watch the PBA of today.
He got his bash in. You guys saw that, right?
I did. I had to get that in. You watch PBA today, everybody's in the same spot. You know, I mean,
You're
years
not playing
ago,
the lanes different?
yeah, no one's playing the lanes different. Oh, here, we're going to stand here, we're going to throw it over there, and everybody's there. Years ago, you had little nuances in the game, so, you know, as you got tired, and the durations were longer, except for your majors.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
Battling fatigue is such a loaded question, per se, because
yeah.
I do think bowling's more mental than physical.
Right.
I think anybody can walk up to a line a lot of times in a day.
Right.
How many times can you do it successfully and put the ball where you want it to go, the right rotation on it, all those things? It's very, I do think it's more mentally challenging than it is physically.
No, I agree with that, you know, and duration. And, you know, most of your fatigue is probably going to come in the majors.
Yeah.
And then also in your practice sessions.
Yeah, my practice sessions are longer. From the amount of bowling I do, I practice more than I'd bowl in a normal block.
Right.
And
so how do you battle that?
Yeah, well, for your general league player that's bowling 3 to 6 games a week, those first few weeks of league are going to be rough.
Yeah.
One, because your body's not used to using those muscles.
Right.
Two, your hand hasn't been in a bowling ball in a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, just the idea that you're taking 5 to 10 minute breaks in between shots.
Sure.
Like you can get a little stiff, you can keep
Right.
going. I always tell people that if you can move in between every other frame, like you sit down for a frame, you hang out with your buddies, I get that. Stand up the next frame.
Right.
If you watch us on Flow Bowling or on the PBA Tour, the only time you see us sitting down is on television. When we're bowling,
Yeah, you don't sit down.
we're moving.
Right.
I mean, if I sit down and I let myself stiffen up, that fatigue will set in much faster.
Right.
If I'm consistently moving, one, I'm preparing myself for the next event by already moving.
Yeah.
But secondly, in that event, I never get stagnant.
Right.
So bowling is very much a rhythm sport.
Yep.
And you get out of rhythm much easier when you sit down, stand up, sit down,
Right.
stand up.
Right.
If you're always moving, that rhythm stays
Yeah.
with you.
And, you know, and again, it's funny when people talk about that. You know, I practice occasionally. I'm starting to get back into it again. I'm starting to practice again. And it's funny because I'll go bowl with some buddies when we practice, and they're constantly throwing shots.
Yeah.
And you don't bowl like that.
No, and quality over quantity is always the way.
Exactly. So, you know, in order to avoid fatigue, especially if you're practicing, is don't become like a sprinter when you practice.
Yeah.
Practice is a marathon session. I'm going to throw 30 shots.
There's a reason why your league bowling takes 3 to 3.5 hours.
Yeah, you got 3 guys on your team or 4 guys on your team. It takes you that long.
Yeah.
So when I practice, if I'm going to throw 30 shots, I'm going to spread them out as if I'm bowling league. I'm at the pace I'm good at.
Right.
And then I don't have to worry about being tired and making the back end of my practice session terrible because I couldn't execute.
Yeah, and something I will do sometimes is I'll try to work out before I practice.
Yeah.
My practice will be much shorter, I promise you.
Yeah.
But if I can have a pretty good practice while feeling that fatigued or tired, I find that the next time I get in that situation, I'm already prepared for it.
Right.
So there are preparations for it. When it comes to stretching, something that's not talked about enough in bowling, how often do you see somebody, they walk up to the line, they try to do it 100% frame one?
No,
Good luck.
exactly.
Good luck.
Yeah,
I mean, even I feel like I'm still fairly young. I'm 26, and I have never just gone up and thrown a shot 100% frame one.
Right.
Or a shot one at practice.
And there's some
You can't
guys
do
that
it.
walk in and do. It's like,
Yeah, and that's going to hurt more.
Exactly
That's
right.
going to hurt more.
Right.
Warm yourself up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might look weird, but do some stretching.
Sure.
Do some jumping jacks, whatever it may be.
Right.
Get your body moving,
Right.
and then keep it moving.
Yeah, one of my favorite staffers of the past was Amaletto. He'd run like 8 miles a day. There's days I don't drive 8 miles.
Yeah.
You know, he's running 8 miles a day, and he gets in shape, and he stays that way, and that's his way of doing it.
Yep.
You know, that may not be applicable to every league bowler or whatever, but again, if you want to practice, you can get endurance from your practice session, but it's not a sprint. So you make sure you practice at a pace that you're going to be bowling at so you can get used to it.
Yep. And remember, we're playing a game that's a point-and-shoot game. You have to be focused. You have to keep the mind ready.
Yeah.
Look at your target. Try to roll it over it. Let the other things come. The
Exactly.
fatigue you may feel in your body, but I promise you it's much more in your mind.
It's our topic for the day. Again, written in. We addressed it. We'll get more for you coming up in a few more episodes.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you.